So we are now only one day away from this Packers versus Bears wild card matchup. The last time the Packers played the Bears a few weeks back, things did not end well. And I honestly have a lot of confidence as a Packers fan going into this game, and I'll explain the different reasons. But I think that when you look at the last time the Packers and Bears played, the Packers were the better team for nearly 58 minutes, but we all know that if you can't finish out games, if you can't close out games, it doesn't matter if you've played good football for the majority of it. And the Bears this season, you have to give them a ton of credit. They have been one of the best in the NFL when it comes to late fourth quarter comebacks. And so going into this game, I think that because the Packers experienced a heartbreak the last time they played the Bears, even if it feels like they have it in the bag, I feel like because of the recent experience, they are going to not slow down, not really take their foot off the gas pedal if they do get up a couple scores. But I think, you look at a few of those different mistakes in that last game. You have the Josh Jacobs fumble in the red zone. You have the Romeo Doubs fumbled onside kick, which obviously was the main factor in the ending there. But another big one that in that game overall was just the Packers going 0 for 5 in the red zone, and they only lost by 6 points. And so you also have Jordan Love going down. Malik Willis played really good football, but I think when you look at this Packers team going into the playoffs, going into this game, there are a ton of guys on the IR. Some of the key players, Micah Parsons, Devontae Wyatt, Tucker Kraft, Elton Jenkins. We can go on and continue to name other guys as well. But the good thing is it looks like Jordan Love is healthy. It looks like he has bounced back from that concussion. It looks like Josh Jacobs is feeling pretty good from some different quotes I read from him. And so the one benefit of sitting a lot of your starters out last week is the fact that they're going to come in pretty fresh for this game where the Bears have played, most of their starters have played in, the most recent game. So that is I would say a benefit going into this game. But now without Micah Parsons, without the best pass rusher in the entire NFL, one of the best pass rushers, I guess you could say Myles Garrett could compete there, especially considering his year this season. But a lot of it comes down to how Jordan Love plays, because we saw against the Ravens the last time that the Packers starters, all of them were out there, things went really, really poor against Derrick Henry. The Ravens ran all over the Packers, and the Bears are a team that can run the ball effectively. The last time the Packers played the Bears ran the ball pretty effectively. But that's the big thing here for me is, I don't expect the Packers defense to totally shut the Bears down. They did it for a lot of the last matchup. But I am very much expecting that if the Packers win this wild card game, if they move on to the next round, it's going to be because Jordan Love comes in and plays incredible football. And then if you also look at this Bears defense, they have really struggled against the run currently throughout the 2025 season, 27th in rush yards allowed. And I think with Josh Jacobs, it sounds like he feels a lot healthier. I think the Packers are going to have to get this running game going, and anytime that you can get that running game going sets things up really nicely for the play action pass. And you compare it to last year, the Packers were without Christian Watson. Now they have him going into this playoff game, and I honestly just feel pretty confident looking at this game. I had said in a previous video that I was happy it was the Bears compared to the Eagles. I think that if the Packers were to play the Eagles in the future, I think that with some momentum, with, let's say, beating a Bears team, for example, then, that's something that I think once the Packers have built some momentum, I like their chances against other teams. Now, because of the way things ended, because of the 4-game losing streak to end the season, I just didn't like the idea of going into Philadelphia when last year it ended that way. I just didn't like that scenario in my mind. That's not to say the Bears aren't a good team and that the Packers easily win this game. The Bears have proven that they were the best team in the NFC North this season. They won a ton of close games. Caleb Williams has played really good in a lot of these big moments. Bears have come up big in a lot of these big moments. And so I think it's going to be a battle, especially with it being in Chicago. But I just think that the Packers have what it takes. Most of my confidence being in Jordan Love and what he has become as the Packers starter in his third year starting here in Green Bay. And if we look at the past 2 games for the Bears defense, they allowed 496 yards and 42 points to the 49ers and Brock Purdy, 200 rushing yards allowed in that game. And then the past game against the Lions, they allowed 433 yards in the game, which they lost 19-16. So you are able to take advantage of this Bears defense. There's no doubt about that. Now, my biggest question for the Packers defense is, can they stop the run? Looking at that Ravens game as we talked, or as I discussed earlier in this video. But the Bears in the last meeting ran the ball at 5.8 yards per rush in the last meeting. And so this Packers run defense had been really good for majority of the year. Against the Ravens, it was awful. And so that's my big question here is, what defense are we going to see show up? It's not the same defense as with Micah Parsons. I think that Jeff Hafley will have to continue utilizing, blitzing guys like Quay Walker, Edger, and Cooper, things like that. I am curious to see if Trevon Diggs will play in this one. If he will start, we'll see. When he came into Green Bay, honestly, I didn't think that he was going to come in and make a massive impact just because he has not really played great this season. Now, maybe he comes into this game, the Packers give an opportunity, and maybe in a new environment, he starts to thrive again, which would obviously be best case scenario. So that's another thing to watch as well in this game. But I think it's going to come down to, who makes the least amount of mistakes, because the Packers, there were so many small things at the end of that game against the Bears where, the Packers, they had that one in the bag and just totally gave it away. There's so many little things here or there. And I think we just always see in a lot of these big NFL moments, it's one play here or there. You look at the Steelers-Ravens games the past couple of weeks. You have that miss by Boswell. I thought, man, Aaron Rodgers, that's what a terrible way to have to go out losing like that. And then you have Loop missing the kick for the Ravens. So many of these games come down to one play. And so that's where playing clean football, finishing a game, which I think the Packers are going to be more focused on in this one, just because of what happened last time. This game, I think this game will come down to the wire, but I really do think that the Packers are going to go into Chicago and beat the Chicago Bears, moving on to the next round of the playoffs. Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And if you'd like more Packers content, feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.